Well, hello. Alright, so I look like scum right now. It's the end of my work day, and I'm a hard-working boy. But I got a couple minutes, and I want to talk about a couple things, because Ultimate Mordecai just posted a video about, on May 26th, about what does God think about the gays. I just want to put my 2 cents in here, and alright, we can point to a couple scriptures that have been changed in the New World Translation. I don't know specifically where it's at right now. I'm not digging through a Bible, but I'm just gonna blurt. There's a scripture where it says 2 men will be in a bed, one will be taken and one, will be left behind. It's when 2 women will be in a field, one will be taken, the other will be left behind. So, Watchtower has changed it to 2 people will be in a bed. You can look it up for yourself. That's more than enough information to do a Bible search on jw.org. 2 people in a bed. It used to be in brackets, now it's no longer in brackets, so they've corrupted the Bible from the original wording, which is 2 men will be in a bed, to 2 people in brackets, to 2 people with no brackets. Then, I have a couple questions. Mike and Kim, thank you for talking about Mike and Kim. I know exactly who they are. Mike and Kim did a video some time ago about hermaphrodites and the people that are born as hermaphrodites. What they didn't tell you in that video is the number of people in the world today who are born as having both gender genitalia, male and female genitalia, it's the exact same statistic as people who are born with red hair. Just put that into perspective. As many people as are born with red hair are how many hermaphrodites are born worldwide. Then we have the Guevedoces boys of the Dominican Republic. The Guevedoces boys of the Dominican Republic, I brought this up to my dad too some time ago. I have 2 children. I have a 4-year-old son and a 1.5-year-old daughter. And when my wife was pregnant with my daughter, I remember watching a BBC documentary. It was called, I can't remember specifically what it was called, but you can find out about the Guevedoces boys. All you got to do is put it in any search. This BBC documentary talked about the Guevedoces boys of the Dominican Republic, and it was the BBC documentary was From the Womb to You or something like that. So it was about the process of development, human development. Anyway, what I learned in watching this program is that it is extremely common in the Dominican Republic for a child to be born with full female genitalia, but Guevedoces, so penis at 12, around the age of what do they call that? Puberty. These girls form a penis and descend testicles and become males. This is not something that happens, once in a blue moon. This is something that happens pretty regularly in the Dominican Republic. Now, as a Jehovah's Witness, you raise that child not knowing, because scientists can't determine who this is going to happen to, but you raise that child to be a girl in the organization and tell her that these are the privileges she's allowed to have, these are the privileges she cannot have, and then one day, out of the blue, boom, she's a boy. This is how you're supposed to think. You can't think about, you're a girl, you shouldn't think about girls. The thing is, you cannot process this brain chemistry that's going on in these people who are females biologically and turn into males. When you teach them this religion, you are destroying their humanity, because they are not going to be girls for their entire life. And at the age of puberty, you're dealing with all kinds of hormones anyway, and then all of a sudden you come to find out that, wow, you're a man. So I brought this up to my dad. I was like, what happens when you raise somebody like this in the witness religion? What kind of things have you done to them mentally, and now all of a sudden they're a man? This is another thing that makes you think about how people who say they're transgender, their brain processes things. And I want to put one more thing on top of this. You can search this also. XJW Analyzer just did a video about split brain syndrome. Watch it. It goes along with this. There is a thing called genetic chimerism. You can look this up. There are people who are born naturally. What happens is they are part of a twin set, but their twin dies, and they are absorbed by their brother or sister, and part of them lives on. A woman in England gave birth to 4 children. They did a DNA test on this woman, and the DNA test said that she was not the mother for each and every one of the children. She got pregnant again, and the government had an official present to watch this woman give birth to her child. They did another DNA test. Come to find out that she was genetically the aunt of all of her children, because her uterus was what she absorbed from her dead twin that she absorbed in the womb. Now, this genetic chimerism thing, this is not the only way that this happens. Now we're talking about the blood situation. So, we all know what the witnesses say about blood. The number one cause of genetic chimerism, okay, is... sorry. The number one cause of genetic chimerism is bone marrow transplants. There is nothing in the Watchtower literature that says that bone marrow transplants are out of the question. How this works: if somebody has bone cancer and they require a bone marrow transplant, and they've been irradiated and they get new bone marrow from a donor, what happens is that bone marrow, what it does naturally is it creates new blood cells. So you put this person's bone marrow into into the recipient, that bone marrow is going to produce that person's blood. If their immune system has been so destroyed by radiation due to chemo, that new bone marrow is going to compensate for the entire immune system and create all of the blood cells for that person. Well, that bone marrow contains the DNA of the donor, and what happens is that if the bone marrow takes over blood cell production to a significant amount, when blood is drawn, you'll have the DNA of the donor, and the recipient no longer carries their own DNA in their blood. If you take a tissue sample, it's still their DNA, but if you draw their blood, it's the DNA of the donor. So I just covered, homosexuality and an issue with blood that witnesses are not aware of, and I really want to go a little bit deeper into this, but like I said, Ultimate Mordecai just did a thing about homosexuality. JW Analyzer did a thing about the brain separation, or the syndrome. I can't remember now. I said it earlier. And Mike and Kim did a video about hermaphrodites. And what do we say about all these things? I mean, what can we say about all these things? You convince me that what happens in the mind is directly correlated with what happens down here. I mean, there are plenty of people that are born that have that mindset. I'm a boy and I like girls. I'm a girl and I like boys. But to box everybody in and say this is what you have to be, knowing that there's all these anomalies. I'm sorry, but I'm nobody's judge, and I refuse to condemn somebody for how they think and how they feel. Especially when I know so much about all these different science things that other people have no idea about, and they're happily ignorant and continue to be ignorant towards people that they don't know. You don't live in their skin. I'm sorry. If you want to be that bigoted, there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with them. I was glad I get to make a video. I'm going to go home and take a shower and enjoy the rest of my evening. Till next time, love you guys. Bye.